Blue Reid has had a wide and varied career. At present, he's on the board of FONTERRA and is chair of Cooperative Business New Zealand. We asked him about what the different roles require.
Can you make any comparison between being a council member and being a director of FONTERRA?
The roles are chalk and cheese, and I think that's where a lot of people tend to get a little confused. On the board, your obligations to the company, 100%, absolutely. As a shareholders councillor, you're representing your shareholders. So, that's part of the decision I made around being involved in any sort of politics to get on the board. Because when you go out and you do politics, you're actually involving yourself in a representation role, and I think you start to confuse what the lines are. So are they similar in terms of being able to debate issues and understand issues from that aspect? Yes, but in terms of politics, representation of a particular view, no. And I think if you make that mistake of trying to represent people's views or other people's views in the boardroom, you make it untenable to be in there, quite frankly. I think farmers elect their board members to do the best for the company, knowing that if they do the best for their company, that it will be best for the shareholders in the long run.
How did your involvement with the Cooperatives Association come about?
I'd been an associate member for a couple of years as a member of the Shareholders Council, and just went to a couple of seminars that they ran, met up with some of the ruling or governing council, if you like. The guy that was the chairman had some health issues, and he just said to me that one day that we need you to step up because nobody is able to at the moment. So I don't know that it had anything to do in particular with my skills. I just happened to have been out of council at that stage for the Shareholders Council for a few months. And there were one or two people that thought I was languishing and not being used to good advantage. So, yeah.
And how much time does that role take?
It was initially, because we've done some strategic reviews of that, we've actually changed the name to Cooperative Business New Zealand because I have a very strong view that we've got to put an emphasis on the business side of what co-ops mean to their members rather than the social side. New Zealand is a completely different model to what a lot of countries have as cooperatives. So that took a fair bit of time. Right now it's not onerously demanding, but it's like anything you do where you've got a leadership role, it's always there in the back of your mind.
What about dairy farmers out there? They're members of a cooperative, they're a shareholder, they're a supplier, they want to take a bigger role in their industry. What's the best way for them to approach that?
I think they it's real easy to say, just get involved, and the process of getting involved means going along to young farmers meetings or any of the vast number of things, discussion groups. God bless their soul, is a place to start, sort of thing. And if you've got an inquisitive mind, you'll soon find that people will identify you and start to suggest other directions for you. And then of course there's so many formal training opportunities available. If you want to go to an IOD course or whatever, if you're young, as I say, get involved in young farmers, and then after that it's school board of trustees or whatever. And the big thing for me is really be careful about running before you know how to walk properly. And so that, it's real easy to get really enthusiastic as a young person, and maybe we need to grab them and help them grow. But I think that there's nothing like a few battle scars to make you capable of understanding what issues and how to deal with complex issues is all about.
Are there enough young people coming through now in the dairy industry for the future?
Yeah, in terms of enough, for me it's pretty hard to judge because you see people coming through, but there's a hell of a lot of rocket ships, and a rocket ship goes up and then it comes down. And so, if people set a particular direction or a particular ambition, they need to accept that along the way to get to that particular ambition there will be some diversions, and every one of those diversions will be a learning opportunity, and it's how people treat that. So in terms of enough, I can't really answer that, but in terms of of how people get to grow to be enough, we've only got a board of 9 elected farmer directors on FONTERRA, and it's great to see the positions being competed for. But when the competition turns into a political battle rather than a battle of business acumen or, say cooperative values from my own prejudices, then we've got a bit of a problem. So enough, the opportunities are there for enough, but I think a lot of people these days are more focused on self than what used to occur, sort of 20, 30 years ago.
Is there one thing that you can tell us about that you believe has had a really positive effect at a governance level?
In terms of really interesting positive effects, I think the employment of Teo Spearings as the CEO and the strategy refresh that's just been undertaken, and the focus that's brought into the business has, like having been out for a couple of years and then walking around the building again, coming back into it, and understanding the simplicity of what Teo talks about and the insistence on what it returns back to Fonterra and its farmers. So in terms of governance and management and the interaction and then focus on the business, I think that's pretty profound. It's been a really, really interesting experience having been out for 2 years, not taking an interest obviously, but then coming in and feeling the difference, if you like, because that's what a lot of this governance stuff, it seems to me, is about. It's about how things trigger something in your mind and how that is going to impact on the company and what it's going to return to people. It's not an exact science, it's a bit like a romance. It can be good and it can be bad. And we've got, I think, a really good grounding now with this strategy refresh to really rocket this company away. And of course the introduction of TAF, although it caused all sorts of ructions, I think has given Fonterra the freedom to a degree to really implement that strategy and really provide some value for Fonterra's farmers in the next few years.
Well, that's it for New Zealand Dairy Farmer for this series. We've been all over New Zealand, from Canterbury to Northland and plenty of places in between. We'd like to thank everybody that was part of the series for sharing their stories, and we hope that we'll see you all again soon for another series of New Zealand Dairy Farmer. New Zealand Dairy Farmer is proudly brought to you by Hanson Products, providing Kiwi farmers with water system solutions for over 50 years.